Good afternoon and welcome to the world-class Wisconsin Entertainment and Sports Center, soon to be the active home of the Milwaukee Bucks. We welcome all of you here today, and we welcome those of you who are watching live streams on Bucks.com, the Bucks app, and on NBA.com, and also those of you watching on Fox Sports Wisconsin and on NBA TV. As you can see, for those of you who have been here recently, there is still great progress as we progress to the next couple of months and the opening of this first-class facility and the home of the Bucks. We're very anxious for all of Milwaukee and Wisconsin to enjoy and experience the new home of Milwaukee Bucks basketball. The building signifies a new era in Bucks basketball, and also today's announcement signifies that new era. With more on that, it is my pleasure to turn it over to Bucks General Manager Jon Horst.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you all for being here. Good afternoon. Special thank you to all the construction workers that are working on this facility for being here. We really appreciate that. This is my honor and pleasure and genuinely excited to introduce Coach Mike Budenholzer to the Milwaukee Bucks organization as our head coach. Bud has a career of building successful franchises. Bud has proven himself as a teacher and a leader in developing players. He's had tremendous success in the Spurs organization and then taking over his own franchise in the success that he had with the Atlanta Hawks organization. And for those reasons and many more, we know he's going to be a great fit for us, and we're really excited to have him here today.
Thank you, John. I want to start with some thank yous. Thank you to my family, to my kids, Libby, who's here today, Will and Hannah and John, who are back in Texas, my girlfriend Melissa here. My parents, my dad's a coach, so he's pretty excited about what I get to do every day. And then, as John just mentioned, I would like to, a big thank you to the players over the last 5 years and all the people that have, put me in a position and given me the support to be sitting here and be named the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks today. I'm very appreciative of them. Very, very appreciative of, John, the Milwaukee ownership, Wes and Mark and Jamie. I couldn't be more excited about this opportunity. The fit is, to me, what this is about. When I looked at the ownership and I looked at the GM and the roster that we have here in Milwaukee, all the great things that are happening around the community, the timing, and taking the Milwaukee Bucks to the next level. I feel very fortunate to be put in this position and given a leadership role and working with the entire roster, with the front office, with ownership. I can't wait to take us to the next level in Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Mike, thank you. Congratulations and welcome to Milwaukee. We have a couple of players here. Chris Middleton and Marshall Plumley are joining us. They're representing the current group of players. Hello, guys. Appreciate it. Time now for questions from the media. We will follow the normal procedure. Please wait for a microphone. You can raise your hand to receive the microphone. Please identify yourself and your news outlet before asking the question.
Coach, Doug Russell at WTMJ Radio. First question, the breakfast with Giannis and Chris. What was discussed and what made you feel like this was going to be the best fit for you?
Do they like berries or bacon or ham? What do they want with their breakfast? No, it was a great opportunity to sit and visit with both Chris and Giannis and, just kind of talk basketball, talk a little bit about families, life. And I think it was just such a smart and important part of the process. I think how important both players are to us, in the short term and the long term. As a coach, you're only as good as your players. And so I think to connect with them on a lot of different levels, it was important that morning. It's important going forward. It's important to connect with really our entire roster. So I thoroughly enjoyed it and look forward to, I don't know about a lot of breakfasts probably, but maybe dinners and lunches and getting to know, all of them a lot better as we go forward.
Matt Velasquez, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. What's it like to be here in this moment, in this facility, getting ready for a season in which, the Bucks are obviously hoping to reach new levels and continue their growth, both within, with the building, the community, and of course on the court.
Yeah, to be in this moment, to be here, I talked about fit and timing. I think I feel incredibly fortunate to be put in this position by John and ownership, and it feels, since, the moment I think we all kind of said yes to each other, nothing's felt more right, and I think there's a genuine excitement about where we can go. I think a genuine understanding of how much work we have to put in to get there, and the focus on getting better every day, individually and collectively. But to be in this moment, to be in front of you guys, to be here with John and the players and everybody, and to think about the future of this organization, I genuinely I think I'm in the best place in the league, and I couldn't be more excited.
Mike, Gary D'Amato, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You've got a track record of team building teams. What are the keys to unlocking potential in young players?
Well, I think unlocking the potential, and whether it be young players or, even older players, I think that still can grow and get better. I think there's a daily approach that, our players and our staff and everybody with the organization will see from, I guess starting with me, but there's an approach to player development it's as simple as just giving it time every day. But then I think there's building confidence in them, giving them opportunities, teaching, holding them accountable, all of those things that are, just really part of coaching. But I think if you're going to unlock potential and you're going to take teams and players to the next level, which we hope to do here, those things become critical. Just that day-to-day attention, holding them accountable, giving them confidence, giving them freedom. Those are some of the things.
Mike, it's Lance Allen from WTMJ TV. From your experience with the Spurs, or the level that you got the Atlanta organization, kind of a follow-up on that is, what are the keys, or what do you feel are the necessary ingredients to get a team to win a championship, to win a division, to win titles like what this organization wants to do?
Well, I think the thing that we're always looking for, I think John and I have talked about it, and that's competitors. I think it always starts with having great competitors on your team, in your front office, on your coaching staff. That probably the number one characteristic that if you want to win championships, you've got to be great competitors. It's got to come naturally. I think that's something that, whether it be San Antonio or Atlanta, or you're watching the teams play that are still alive in the playoffs, that competitive spirit that runs through them. I think there's an unselfishness that's critical to winning at a high level, and an unselfishness that, starts with your best player. And, we're lucky to have a Giannis who will do anything to win, and a Chris Middleton that'll do anything to win. And when you have, your best players that are true competitors and that are truly unselfish and care more about the team than they do themselves, those are a couple of the big, kind of foundational blocks to winning championships and doing things that are special.
Eric Name, ESPN Milwaukee. Mike, when you look at Giannis, he might be the greatest singular talent that you'll get to be head coach for. How do you try to leverage his skills, and what kind of exciting opportunity is that for you?
Well, yeah, on the back end of the question, it's, there's a lot of reasons to be excited about coming to Milwaukee, but there's no doubt Giannis is one of, he's so important to our success. I think he embraces, his leadership role and how he needs to grow and improve and get better along with all the rest of us. So the excitement level is through the roof. And I think, how we can use and implement him defensively and offensively. It started some at breakfast, and it'll probably continue down in the weight room, today and tomorrow and the next day. And those conversations, I look forward to having with Giannis and listening to Giannis too. I think he's a smart player at 23. I think he has an IQ and an understanding of the game, and I think together he and I will probably push each other. But I look forward to pushing him, and I think he believes it, and I believe it. He's going to get a lot better as we watch him over the years.
Hi, Coach. Stephanie Sutton, WISN TV here in Milwaukee. I have two questions. First of all, have you ever been to a press conference like this in all your years in the NBA?
No.
What do you think of all the hard hats?
Yeah, it's impressive that they got all of you guys to put them on. John and I joked, do we have to wear them? And we thought we were pretty critical to this press conference, and maybe we could get away without wearing them. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Everybody's got their hard hats and safety vests, and I won't miss any of you for sure.
And of all the things that you weighed in your decision in coming to Milwaukee, what was the one thing that truly convinced you to take this job here?
I think the fit here just really felt right. Whether it's with John, I think the interview and the day we had together with his staff, the time with ownership and visiting with them and getting a sense for how important winning is to them, and then sitting and visiting with Giannis and Chris at a breakfast. And the longer the process went on, the greater the fit felt. And when you're building a team, I've been a part of building, a lot of great championship teams in San Antonio, a lot of success in Atlanta over the last 5 years, and lots of times fit is just, it's almost more important than anything. And how do people fit together on the court? How do people fit together in the front office and a coaching staff and ownership? I just that's became the overwhelming feeling that this was a great fit for me and my coaching staff that I'm excited about bringing and working with these players. Couldn't be, I just think that there's so much potential here.
Coach Greg Matzik from WTMJ Radio. A question for you and for you, John, as well. You had been the president of basketball operations at one point with Atlanta. I'm the guy in the hard hat, sorry. Yeah. How important is that opportunity to build with John, a collaborative roster, given your experience level that goes far beyond just coaching? Was that an aspect of this job that you find appealing? And then, John, to have a guy like that with that level on his resume, how much did that really stand out to you?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think for me, anyone who's worked with me so far and any of our staff would tell you that being collaborative and having our pillars of our franchise work together on everything and share ideas and beat things up and go back and forth, and then ultimately be responsible for making decisions in your area that you're hired to have, that's really important. And we talked a lot about that during our interview process. There's no doubt, Bud has been with the San Antonio Spurs. They've done a great job of drafting. They've done a great job finding talent on the margins. They've built great organizational culture. And just as we talked about before, leveraging resources, leveraging experiences is everything. This is not an I game. This is not a me game. This is a we game. And to have someone with his experience and his knowledge to help us and support us is tremendous.
Yeah, and what John just said, I felt from the first time we started visiting and talking about how we see the Bucks and their perspective and what they've observed and learned over the years. And it's different when you're on the sideline or you're coaching against them. But for me, I think there's been a great opportunity for me to be focused on coaching and to really make that my focus, but to be somewhere where I think your thoughts and your experiences and your observations on how to build a great championship type level team are appreciated and welcomed and valued, and to have great debate. And this morning we're already having great conversations about what we need to do with our players and put them in the best position. And when everybody's working well together, that's when great things happen. And I think from like I said, the very first meeting with John and his group all the way through the process, it just felt like a place where I think it would be a good fit for me, and they would value what I bring, and also allow me to focus on coaching, which is the most important thing I'm here to do. And so it's I look forward to that whole process of building a team. But I know where my focus is and where John's is and how we can help each other, and I'm excited about that.
Gennaro Armas, AP. John, what was this coaching search like for you, and can you describe the point at which you thought, Mike's the guy?
Yeah, I think the process for me was a great education, a great learning experience. I think you only get so many opportunities to go through something like this, and hopefully we don't go through it again for a really long time. That's the goal and the plan. But for us, we ran a really thorough process. We interviewed a lot of high-quality candidates. But you go through something like this, and obviously you have a target and a focus in what you want to accomplish. And Bud was obviously that for us. You know, we knew that he was going to be a candidate for us. We were excited to meet with him. We had a really long meeting. We joked about how long our interview was. But we all walked out of that meeting, that interview with him, knowing that this is a guy that we want to pursue and try to figure things out with. And so you still continue to go through your process and you continue to be true to it. And to his credit, he allowed us to do that. And we got to a great result, which is really the only reason for having a process. And it doesn't really matter unless you get a great result. And we're really confident we got a great result.
Coach Chuck Freeman, WSSB, you got a proven record of that your system works down in Atlanta. What do you see with this nucleus of this team and the roster, where your system is going to work, where you can come in here either on the defensive side or the offensive side, and with your coaching philosophy, where you can make these guys, let these guys take that next step up?
Yeah, I think the thing that probably stands out to me first is just the potential on the defensive side of the ball, and I would say that's been always something that's prioritized. We want to be great on both sides of the ball, but you know, whether it be the last 5 years in Atlanta as a head coach, and you know, I think San Antonio at the end of the day has always been great defensively. You know, I think with the individual talents we have here in Milwaukee, and you know how we can get them. You know, I think one of the words I used in the interview process is how can we unlock this talent defensively. I just think there's so much to work with, and you really could go up and down the roster. So I think, you know, instilling our defensive principles, you know, things that we just hold, you know, core to our beliefs. And I think there's some of them that are very simplistic and the players will understand quickly, and that's part of freeing them up to be great on that side of the court. Offensively, you know, I think it's going to be a great challenge for me and my staff. Certainly a million ideas flying around in my head for the last 2, 3, 4 days, and the different things we can do. But, you know, I can tell you that playing with more pace or with great pace and playing faster, lots of great people movement and ball movement and things that are, again, kind of core to what I believe in. And when you talk about a system and what we've done the last 5 years, those types of things, I think we're going to figure out how it best fits the players in Milwaukee and implement it and teach it and coach it. And you know, like I said earlier, we'll learn from our players here too. I think they'll teach us things that where we can, you know, that's another way we'll go to another level. And so, you know, the defensive and offensive side of the ball are, you know, there's a lot to work with here in Milwaukee.
Hi, Rich Kirch in Milwaukee Business Journal. You mentioned the fit with the organization, and I guess you met with the owners in New York City. Which ones did you meet with, and what was it that made you feel like you would be a good fit with them?
Yeah, it was, you know, Wes and Mark and Jamie, you know, in a beautiful office in New York, and it was obvious, I think, how much they want to win and how passionate they are about winning, how they'll do anything, you know, I think for our players and for our organization, and whether it be the front office or the coaching staff, it was a real commitment that I sensed, and you know, in good conversation about, you know, whether it be, you know, personal or the basketball side of things and learning about them, and of course them learning a lot about me. You know, I sensed a commitment to winning and a real belief in Milwaukee, a real belief in the things that are happening here in the city, whether it be the arena, the practice facility. You know, I think they're committed to this, and you know, they have big dreams and big hopes for us, and I think they want to put you know, I think one other thing that stands out about the ownership group is they put the best people in positions, you know, with John and the medical and the facilities and everything. You just immediately sense that they're about getting the best, and you know, those are the types of owners and the type of people you want to work with.
Coach Doug Russell, WTMJ Radio again. Your Hawks team played this Bucks team 3 tough games last year. Maybe you have a unique perspective, and I know you kind of touched on this a moment ago, but from your perspective as someone who just coached against this team, where were the opportunities that you saw that led you to believe that you can beat this Bucks team that you can now coach them up for?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think to get into the details of it, there's, like I said, they're evolving in my head, and John and I have talked about some of them, and you know, I certainly believe that we could be a really, really good defensive team, and you know, elite, I would say, and I think how we can improve and be better offensively and be more efficient and be more dynamic on an individual basis and on a team basis. But but I think I certainly want to give, they've had a lot of success here, and things have been done well. And so I think I'll learn some of the things from what's been done here the last few years and marry it up with the core things I was talking about earlier. So there's been a lot of success here, but I think there's certainly potential on both sides of the ball to get better and get in the gym and start working with our players and take it to that next level.
Coach Delaney Bride, TMJ4, over here.
Oh, sorry.
In the hard
The
hat, right?
bright lights, yeah.
You mentioned facilities before. Teams can tell you that they're going in a new direction, but to really see the new building come up, the new stadium, was that a check mark for you that really made you say, hey, I can put my stamp on a new arena?
Yeah, certainly the new arena and walking through the practice facility, and these things are just so critical to our team and our organization's success. And certainly players really feel it when you're playing in a great arena with a great home crowd. It makes a difference. And for a coach, to know that we have these facilities and that we're first class in everything we do, it's critical to making a decision. And if you're fortunate enough to have opportunities, you certainly want to see that the ownership and everybody is committed with a new arena, new facilities, great people in place. And I think Milwaukee checked all those boxes.
Tom Oates, Wisconsin State Journal. John, given where this team's at, how important, if it was important, was it to you to maybe get a proven team builder as opposed to maybe taking a chance on a kind of unproven assistant, so to speak?
Yeah, I think, Tom, for us, we wanted to interview and spend time with a lot of quality candidates, and experience mattered. There's no doubt that, like Bud alluded to, we've done some things well here. We've had some successes. Finding the person, the right fit for this team, the right systems, the right ideas, the right principles and philosophies to help this group take the next step was paramount. And ultimately, after going through our process, it was clear to us that Bud was the guy to do that.
We have time for one more question. Eric?
Mike, as you look at this Bucks team, obviously player development's a big thing for you and finding individual plans for all those guys. How does that process work for you as you take the job here in the summer and attempt to get that information out to your guys who might not be here?
Well, so that's what I was alluding to. And, John, we didn't spend very much time prepping for this press conference, so I apologize for that. But we've been in kind of a big conference room with Troy Flanagan and the medical group and some of John's front office group and some of my group that we're hopeful will be here, and it's probably the most important thing is you start looking at a calendar, you start mapping out, how can we touch these guys, how can we start teaching, how can we start developing them, and it's just not from the coaching standpoint, it's how is our medical group, how are they progressing with, strength and conditioning and nutrition and all those things, and so it's literally the first thing we did this morning, starting at 8:30, and I think it's certainly something that is core to our beliefs as player development. Our players, I think hopefully they're going to feel like when they come to Milwaukee, they're going to be a better player if and when they leave. And it's going to help us retain our players. It's going to help us attract players as they know that they're going to be developed and cared for at a high level. And it started this morning.
Thank you for attending today's news conference. To welcome Coach Budenholzer to Milwaukee, we welcome you again. Congratulations, Mike. We will have a photo opportunity and then, of course, one-on-one opportunities for the media. Thank you for being with us today.